And I am recording. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. I was going to go for a bike ride to some yard sales, but it's raining here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So lucky you, you get to watch slash listen to me. Pardon me, I just woke up. Comment on the Dungeons and Dragons 80s cartoon, specifically the episode The Hall of Bones, which is one of my favorites. It's a good one. It's got a lot of D&D specific, like tie-ins to the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons lore, which you will see. My name is Torrin Atkinson. I am a storyboard artist by trade. I am a dungeon master for fun, although someone asked me to dungeon master for them professionally recently, so maybe I'll be a dungeon master by trade very shortly. And sometimes voice actor. Funny story. So I'm working on a show called Spidey and His Amazing Friends. And sometimes we don't have the tracks, the audio tracks from the actual voice actors by the time we do the storyboards, which is how the process usually goes. These storyboard artists will have the, excuse me again, the vocal tracks recordings, but prior to doing any storyboards. But sometimes we don't have that, so I do them myself. And one of the executive producers, I can't remember what his official title was. They were watching the animatic that we had made, and it had my voice tracks in it. I was doing the voice for Iron Man, which is normally done by John Stamos. And the director came back to me and said that they liked my performance better than John Stamos. So that's something to make me feel good. But let's get on with our show here. And maybe what I should do is, this is my, I want to make it full screen. There we go. This is from, we're watching my D&D, my DVD, my D&D DVD from the early 2000s box set. And unfortunately, there are no subtitles on this box set, which is really a shortcoming as far as I'm concerned. The Hall of Bones. Let's do it up. I didn't check to see who this was written by. Should do that. Hall of Bones. There it is. Written by John Gibbs and Bob Richardson. I don't know who those are. Oh, no, those are the directors. Paul Dini. This one has 3 writers. Paul Dini, Kevin Paul Coates, and Dennis Marks. I know all those names except for Kevin Paul Coates. You'll know Paul Dini from Batman the Animated Series, amongst other things. Let's click on Dennis Marks and see what else he has done. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which is kind of a contemporary of this series. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, etc., etc. And Kevin Paul Coates, I'm interested, not knowing that name. Battle of the Planets. Just 2 credits. Okay. These guys here. Oh. Paul Dini gets the only credit on the title card. Nice lizard. No wide establishing shot for this episode, as we will find out why in a second, because they are not showing the monsters. We're tight on everyone. Some fun run cycles with Bobby and Uni. No, grabbed! And that was the end of Uni. This is what they call in the script simian bats, which are not in the Dungeons and Dragons monster manual, any of the monster manuals of the time. So these were made for the D&D series. Animated cartoon. And then, what's going on?
Something's wrong with my energy bow.
I lost my mojo.
I'll take care of them.
It's just a stick.
Quick, under my shield.
How are they going to get out of this one when all their weapons are failing?
Fell
I'm live streaming this on my Twitch channel, Twitch TV/Torrin Atkinson. And Evil Critters is in the chat. Hello.
Run!
Welcome back. And they're on the lam from these guys. They got his hat. They don't care. Now Bobby has to go and hunt for his hat, and Diana as well. Her tiara. Oh, clever. Classic. Hiding under the in the water with the straws, the reeds. Now they're all yucky.
I hope those ugly things don't come after us.
Where did those things
Yeah, bat-winged apes. The simian apes. The flying simians. What are they called? The simian bats.
Well, let's get out of here before he starts working overtime.
We never see them again after this episode. Although, there are many times. So, Venger is hired, or
Bats have failed.
controlled,
Even they could not take the enchanted weapons from the young intruder.
as established here in this scene.
Enough. I will deal with
But there's many times when simian bats would be very useful to Venger if he chose to use them again, but he does not. And Shadow Demon doing his thing. These are like golden peppers.
Whatever they are, these things sure look good.
Eric looking disgruntled.
power? I'm worried.
Reason?
Sheila is worried for a change.
Dungeon Master!
Your weapons have failed?
Yeah, 1 minute I'm knocking down trees, then poof, my club just
Yeah, who voices Shadow Demon? I can find that out. Shadow Demon.
I
It's
was
voiced by
afraid
Bob Holt.
the mystic energy that powers your weapons is fading.
fading.
Doesn't have. He's.
Bobby, our weapons
There
don't
was
have
various characters on IMDb that don't stand out to me.
Weapons must be recharged.
See, I told you, dead battery.
This is a great idea for an episode. It strikes me as
High in the mountains,
a weird choice for the third episode in the series. Like, I feel like this should come, like, at the end of season 1, maybe?
horrible. A gigantic tomb filled with the remains of this land's greatest warriors.
Oh, great, a cemetery.
Inside
Lots of scratches on the film,
of power, it
I'm
will
noticing.
recharge your weapons.
How do we find it?
There will be someone to guide the way, but they will want payment. And remember, in darkness, look to the light.
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Can't you show us the way, Dungeon Master?
So Dungeon Master knows that they're going to meet this character that they meet
We better get going.
later on,
Feel a lot
which is
safer when our
interesting,
weapons are recharged.
as we will see why. Here they are in a town. That was Frank Welker yelling, "Don't stop!"
Maybe we can hire a guide here.
Hire him? We don't have any money.
I'm gonna turn my volume up a little.
Well, fortunately, I have the solution. With my talent, I can perform for the money.
Eric, I don't think you should.
After all, if this crowd goes gaga over two little dummies, think how they'll react.
To one big dummy.
No, I can't.
Good afternoon, ladies and lords. The great Eric will now entertain you. Hey, how many dwarves does it take to change a light bulb? None. They can't reach it. They're not troll enough.
Great voice acting by our friend Donnie Most.
Oh,
There we go.
yuck. Yeah,
Say, did you hear the one about the barbarian who was so stupid?
I want to make this character and run him in my next D&D campaign.
He was so
It's Chonky
that everyone loved him. He
Barbarian.
was the smartest guy in the world.
He enjoys his beer, I'm guessing. And then he's just out of the scene. He's just gone.
Presto, do you think you can pull some money out of your hat?
Presto, can you do something useful?
I don't think so. Try.
Okay.
Basically, if you've seen the new D&D movie, there's a sorcerer character, and he's kind of like Presto in that he's, I can't do anything right. I'm not good enough. So here's a bugbear and what I believe is a troglodyte from the monster manual. And there's Frank Welker saying, "Don't stop again."
Hey, presto! You're a hit.
They're throwing gold pieces at them.
Are you sure?
The dragon's tooth.
Sure. Guides always hang out in places like this.
I don't know who
Remember, Eric,
Our weapons
that
won't
guy
be
is.
able to
I don't know
help
what
us
that
in the
deal is with that guy.
what trouble? The old Cavalier knows what he's doing.
Great pan across the scene. There's some orcs.
Don't you think we should at least get a guide that talks human?
Hey,
Talks human? Is that how you say it?
anyone interested in a business proposition?
Yeah, go with Avengers Minions, the orcs. Although I wonder if it's been established at this point by episode 3 that the orcs are
Knowing ya.
in league with Avenger.
Fellas, we only need
They're
one
quite large. I guess that's about right. I mean, they are kids.
It is a nice round number. You'll have to share the fee, though.
Brr? That guy's cool.
Uh-oh. Help! Help!
Help!
The old Cavalier is in trouble.
Donnie Most.
Can't we discuss this over lunch?
More bugbears. There, I see a troll in the back there on the right.
Over pennies so you can have all this.
And then, yeah, and there's that barbarian. Awesome. Good callback. Now they're running screen right to left. That's the guy with the knife.
What are they so mad about? You just gave him a big sack of money.
Wrong. We just gave him a big sack of bottle caps.
You what?
Shut up and run!
Oh no! Dead end!
Over here, this way.
And now they're looking right, but she's on the left. It's a little confusing,
Look to the light.
screen direction wise. Who is this mysterious lady here to help us? Hank, you might be wrong.
You'll be safe there.
I don't know who's voicing this character,
Favorite words.
and I don't think they say it in the credits. I wonder if it's on IMDb. Probably not.
Who are you?
Someone sent by a friend of yours. Friend?
I have a special treat.
It's a spider's web.
I have the storyboards
And if you could,
for this section, this scene.
is a bottomless
The bottomless pit of despair.
take what's mine.
And now the simian bats are doing their thing. Yeah, so after we watch this episode, we can look at the storyboards and see what the difference is between the storyboards and the finished product, which I thought might be a fun thing to do.
I leave to Loth, demon queen of spiders.
Good transformation
Do with
sequence.
them as you will.
Lolth, demon queen of spiders, one of the big bads in the monster manual. Or is it the Fiend Folio? Or is it the Monster Manual 2? No, it's not the Monster Manual 2. I'm pretty sure it's the first one. They're all doomed.
We gotta do something.
I found out recently that, so normally, these days, of course, the voice acting all happens remotely for the most part. They don't get people in one room anymore like they used to. It's just not necessary. The technology has caught up with the internet and everyone has their own home studio. But back in the old days, everyone would get together in a room. However, Bobby, what was his name? Who voiced Bobby? Teddy Field III, I guess was too young or too nervous or too inexperienced or too something. So he would have to have his own, probably would just get too distracted being in a room with all these other kids. So the voice director, who was Hank Saroyan, this is a weird transition. It's supposed to be, I think that's, let's track back a second if I can.
Come on.
Okay, what happens if I hit that? This looks like it's supposed to be a reflection. Oh, and I'm, God, there we go. Oh no, okay. We can do it. We can do it. We have the technology.
Now cut the rest of us loose so we can get out
I
of
think that's animation. That's supposed to be a reflection And I would think the ripples would, like, go out from the reflection, but maybe they tried that and it wasn't cost effective or they couldn't get it done in time, so that transition doesn't really work. Great idea, though.
Well, that's one way.
This works great.
Look, there's a way out.
You want us to go out there?
You want to stay in?
Some nice, what do you call that?
The vendor took our weapons.
Lens flare?
But at least we're alive. Let's go.
So they've gotten out of the pit, thanks to Uni's horn. And then suddenly they're just like, oh, here's Tiamat fighting Venger. Just outside.
Stay down.
Where's the town?
No.
Oh, like, how long did they crawl through the caves before they got to
We gotta get out
the
of here.
exit? Best not to worry about it.
Tiamat, you have
The horse, obviously voiced by not a horse, by a person imitating a horse. As good as Frank Welker is, you can still tell it's not a real horse.
Now
But
where do we go?
as imitations go, it's a pretty good horse. I mean, it's better than I can do. And now they're fighting.
You are weak.
Frank Welker as Tiamat.
I am stronger than ever.
Oh no, he's using our
It's a
weapons
great
to
shot
fight
of all
demons.
6
Great, we can use a few less dragons.
heroes plus
Our weapons
Uni.
don't work. Great. Then we'll have a few less Vengers.
And a few less weapons, too.
Maybe they'll destroy each other. She doesn't like it. She's against it. It's like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. And then they're still glow. They're not working, but they're still glowing. Should have them flicker out, which I think they're about to do. Useless. Scatter. There we go.
Now's our chance.
It's a great. It's really hard to draw chins. So the artists, storyboard artist, and the animators did a great job on that shot of Uni and Bobby
We
looking
still
up.
don't know how to get there.
Come on, we've got to find a guide.
We've got to find Guido.
So, the Hall of Bones, eh?
It's a weird sound.
This is a joke. There's been no sign of a town, a guide, or anything else.
Something else?
Yes, Bob Holt was in Gummy Bears. I never watched Snorks. I never watched Gremlins.
You look as though you've never seen a halfling before.
We can't see you now.
That halfling has very pointy ears for a halfling. He looks more like a gnome to me, but he does have the hairy feet. He's a pantsless halfling. Hector, the pantsless halfling, at your service.
I doubt it. We're looking
This
for
is
some stupid
very
guide.
clearly voiced by Frank Welker. Harold. Hector. Hector.
You know where it is? What kind of guide would I be if I didn't?
You're a guide? Can you lead us there?
Oh, why, of course.
I like his
Yeah, how much will
uneven
it cost
teeth.
us?
Well,
It's
for
good
the
character
time
design.
being,
He's got his bedroll on his side or
the
something.
company shall be my payment.
I like his rates.
Oh, was there a Gremlins cartoon? Is that what we're talking about? Or we're talking about Gremlins the,
Canyon.
Sorry, I'm just interacting with Evil Critter in the chat.
Are we there yet?
If there was a Gremlins cartoon, I never saw a Gremlins cartoon. I did see Gremlins the movie.
When do we get
Who did Bob Holt do in Gremlins the movie?
Come on, we're practically there.
There's nothing practical about this.
Look! Oh, yuck! Meow.
What? Oh. I was like, am I supposed to be looking at something? Oh, it's the mountain.
Hector must have rocks in it.
Come on, Uni, you can do it!
Horses on mountains. Now, here's the thing. I went for a horse ride many years ago,
Hector's head, not on my head.
and we went along this cliff, and I was scared for my life going down a cliff on these tiny trails with horses. Very
Come on, this
narrow
clown doesn't
trails.
know where he's going.
But the guide was just like, just hang on, let the horse knows what it's doing.
Yeah!
So yeah, horses can climb up mountains, I guess.
Great idea. But first
And also, like,
Hey, Hector.
Uni
you
seems
said
like,
you'd take us to the
well,
Hall of
Uni
Bones.
sounds like a
And
goat.
I have.
So
it is, my friends. The Hall
maybe
of Bones.
Uni is part goat. There we go. There's something to look at. The Hall of Bones. It's a great shot.
Brother, couldn't we pretend we never found it?
Come along, quickly now.
This place gives me the creeps.
Every place in this world gives you the creeps.
The Skull of Power. Legend says
I think there was something in this episode. I might have missed it while I was talking, but there's a line that Hank says where it's clearly not Willie Ames. It's clearly Frank Welker
They're faster than we do.
imitating Willie Ames. It's really close, but you can tell if you listen for it.
Weapons in the skull.
I wonder if I can go back and find it. But we'll finish this. We're at the climax here. The power. Don't smash Uni. Just because the audience wants you to.
Everything's working great.
Yum, 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 yum.
And now, my payment for bringing you here.
Yeah, buyer beware, kids. Caveat emptor.
Avenger!
That's a less cool transformation, but it'll do.
Over your weapon.
So Dungeon Master knew that Hector was going to give them a guide, and Dungeon Master said he was going to demand payment, but he didn't warn them that it would be Venger or anything like that.
Thanks, Venger.
Uh-oh.
Wait! Dungeon Master said, in darkness, look to the light. Quick, everybody, into the skull. This is the light.
This is awful.
No!
Don't do it. This is great. I love this idea.
Did we do that?
I don't know.
Did I do that?
Battle with Venger is no longer yours. Go.
Now is that
What's
Peter Cullen
happening?
I'm not sure.
voicing, or was it Frank Welker?
Challenge me.
We're ghosts.
Within this hall, Venger, our powers are supreme.
Are we home?
No.
They're gonna raise the
we're out
roof.
of the Hall of Bones and away from Venger. But not far enough. Let's get
This
out
is
of
where
here.
they blew the budget. This scene right here. That's where all the animation budget went into. The crumbling bridge. Pretty great. Great stuff. And give Diana her moment.
If this hall is the source of your power, then you leave me no choice.
I'm gonna blow it up.
We got our weapons recharged. Look! Yeah, but the charge only lasts for 300 years.
What do you mean only?
What's that?
You think they beat Venger?
Nice lighting.
I hope so.
We don't see enough good lighting in this show. A lot of the time it's quite flat. But this episode did a great job.
I think that answers your question, Presto.
Wow! I wonder where Venger recharges his batteries.
I wonder if we're ever gonna get out of here.
Bob Holt did the Mogwai and Gremlin voice effects. Thank you, evil critters. So that's the end. Like I said, one of my favorite episodes. Not my most favorite episode. And there's other people as well. Yes, yes. So let us... You don't need to watch all these credits. Here is the storyboards for the scene for Act 2 of The Hall of Bones. This is by... I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Normally it says on these. Let me see if I can find another one. The Night of No Tomorrow? No, it doesn't say in that one either. Okay. Anyway, I'll put it in the YouTube description. So Lolth, here we fade in. Lolth lowers herself into the pit towards the out-of-shot kids. Cut to Diana and Uni stuck in the web and struggling against its restraint. Uni scared Winnie. So this is what I was storyboarding for long enough that it was still digital, but we would do it in this format where there would be three, basically, I think we did 3 to 6 panels per page, and we would write down the dialogue, or as we call it, dial, and also just clarify what action is happening in the shot. So this is a familiar format to me. Eric and Presto stuck in the web. Cut to a different shot. Eric, oh, what I'd give for my shield. He doesn't. There's a lot of differences, as we will see. Presto says, or a king-sized can of bug spray. Diana, Uni, your horn. Cut the web with your horn. Uni nods, understanding. Meh. She rubs her horn back and forth on the strands holding Diana. So Uni does do this, but at a different spot in the scene. Lolth descends closer to our friends. And in this one, Lolth has dialogue.
Lolth, who shall be the first to feel the sting of Lolth, demon queen of spiders?
Her hands free, Diana gets to her feet. Sorry, Queenie, but your lunch is leaving. Now Diana's feet are free, and she must keep her balance on the thin web strands. That's no problem for an acrobat. Lolth shoots a magical web-like substance from her, not from her spinnerets in her abdomen, but from her I don't know, you'd call it the end of her leg, at the out-of-shot Diana. The magic web strikes her on the legs. Diana, oh! The force carries her over the edge of the web. This is not super well illustrated in the board, but probably to save on animation budget, we don't show this happening, and so that's why we cut to Hank. Strains helplessly in the web. Diana! Now we see Diana dangling from the web bolt 10 feet below the web. I'm okay, Hank. Suddenly, Diana begins moving upward. Lolth is cruelly reeling Diana in.
But not for long.
Uni has freed herself and backs away from Lolth. Then she rears and whinnies her challenge. It's Uni versus Lolth. Uni charges into Lolth, bounces off harmlessly. Lolth turns and charges towards the out-of-shot Uni. Lolth does a vicious snarl. Hank and Bobby, Uni, look out! Of course. Here we see a truck out. The way that we did truck outs back in the old days, we would just draw them instead of doing an actual camera move like we do in the software Storyboard Pro from Toon Boom. This is not an endorsement. This is just what we use. Uni rises a bit stunned. Uni shakes in fear, I think that's supposed to say, as Lolth enters the frame. You can see the little arrow here to indicate all the directions in the boards. Diana pulls herself upward the edge of the web. She scrapes off the web strands binding her legs, which you'd think maybe they just all do that. Diana to Lolth, hey, Spider Lady, here's your web back. Lolth reacts, truck in. So we go from wide to not as wide as Lolth turns to the camera. Diana throws the mass of web strands. See, now if we were doing this today in animation, we would panel all this out, as we say. So we would show Diana holding the web strand and doing this arm movement, and then we would also show the web strand moving out of frame. So it'd be like 3 or 4 poses in this, what we see here in this one panel with Diana. It sticks to Lolth's face, covering her eyes. Lolth screams in rage. Lolth turns and charges towards the out-of-shot Diana, blinded as Lolth lunges at her. Diana leaps high over her, somersaulting into scene. Diana grabs a web strand and swings out of shot as Lolth's arms enter the scene to grab for her. Diana swings to the pit side and pushes off their feet to return the way she came. This is all great stuff. Great drawings, great action. Diana swings into into scene and kicks Lolth. Lolth tumbles and falls over the edge. You can see in these first two panels here, at the top, he shows the start and stop. So this is a pan. This is all one shot. This is not a cut. And frantically trying to grab something, she takes Uni with her. And Uni has a frightened whinny. Swinging into scene, Diana sees the situation and drops off her web strand. Lolth, so we cut to Lolth drops through the scene, gripping Uni in her forelegs. Diana drops into the scene, snatching Uni from Lolth's grasp as Lolth continues to fall out of shot. So that's, yeah, so as you can see, it says on the top left hand, here it says continued. That means it's still the same shot. We're not cutting yet. Diana hangs suspended, holding Uni in the crook of her arm. And now we cut to a longer shot, shows Diana hanging from the edge of the web as Lolth plummets into the pit, which is my favorite, which is, we do see this in the original scene, except not with Diana and Uni in the original scene, as we recall from like 15 minutes ago. Uni just cut the web strand before Lolth even got to the web to eat them. So where am I? Lolth, long evil screech fading. Yep, that's a bottomless pit, all right, says Diana. And then we just cut to them. They've all gotten out of the pit. Hank and Bobby help Presto out of the pit. Eric, now what? Unless one of us can fly. And here's a cool shot. We're still trapped. And pan up to walls, disappearing in darkness. As you can see, this is another pan up. Anyway, so that's the fun part of the scene. And also, as you can see, Dungeon Master shows up, which is not something that happens at all. This dialogue doesn't take place at all. So you can see what happens in every iteration from writing the script. There's probably multiple drafts of the script. They go to boards. They find out what you can find out what works and what doesn't work in the board. So obviously they either cut this for time or just for budget reasons, because there's a lot of action and animation that would be happening in this scene. So that's kind of like your your lesson on storyboarding for the day. I do kind of want to find that part with Hank if I can. Okay, I found the spot. Tell me if you recognize this as Willie Ames or as Frank Welker.
Hey, Hector, you said you'd take us to the Hall of Bones.
And
I feel like that's definitely Frank Welker and not Willie Ames. And then I found another one. So if you see if I can find it, just a little mistake.
good reason to be.
Dungeon Master!
that was who? That's a good ventriloquism by Hank.
Dungeon Master!
Hank's voice coming out of Eric's mouth. Okay, so that was what I wanted to show you, and thanks for joining us today in the D&D episode Foyer of Ligaments. Hall of Bones. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.